ঠিক আছে না ভাষা পেটো দিছো
ए राम पास्ता वेटिंग আছে वेटिंग
তুমি এমনি নবি ওই রিমুভ করবি রিমুভ করে নয় দিও
নহয়
চৰাইবাহী মহাবিদ্যালয় বুলি এখন আছে
হেৰি নগাঁও
চৰাইবাহী
নাগিলত ভাল বিস্কুট দিছে
Insol number এটা হেল্প না কন্ডিশন que le dio
lagu komentar sendiri
ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰিঙৰ আইডলৰ শিডিউল বেছি
সেই নাই কোৱা দেই গো লাইফ পিটিকিলে হ'ব people waiting
Sasam Bedlata
আমি মাল হবে
কাকো নহয়
মোবাইল বলেছেন
এই রিজলিউশন ভালো হলে ভালো হবে হেল্ল' স্যার এই কলেজতে আছো আপোনাৰ এই টেস্টিং কৰিবলৈ আপোনাৰ মোবাইল নি আপোনাৰ টেস্টিংটো হেৰি কৰি লওঁ আপোনাক সোমাম বেলেগ বেলেগত নোসোমাম আপুনি হেৰি আপোনাক হেৰি কৰি দিছো আপুনি লাইনত আছে নে আপোনাৰ নাম আপোনাৰ নিজৰ নামতে সোমাইছে কি বুলি কয় হেৰি এইটো লগা আকৌ লোৱা
Hello.
হেল্ল'
Hello.
হেল্ল' শুনা পাইছো হেল্ল'
Okay.
আৰু কওকচোন হেল্ল'
Hello.
মোক শুনা পাইছে নাই
পাইছো
হেল্ল'
কোন আছে তাত
আমি ডিজু মই ৰক্তিম দেৱজিত দা খাউন ছাৰ আৰু পুষ্পা বাইদেউ ময়ূৰী সিমানেই
আৰু
নেটৱৰ্কটো অলপ হেৰি আছে নি বাৰু
মোক দেখিছা নাই দেখা
দেখি আছো না নেটৱৰ্কটো হেৰি আছে নি কৈছো
নেটৱৰ্কটো ঠিকে আছে
অকমান লাগি ধৰা লিখা লাগিছে মাত্ৰ ঠিকে আছে তেতিয়া হ'ব ঠিকে আছে ঠিকে আছে শুনা পাইছো আপোনাক কো-হোষ্ট বনাই দিছো আপুনি নিজে আনমিউট কৰি ল'ব পাৰিব
হেৰি কৰি দিয়াই ভাল জইন কৰি দিয়াই ভাল কালি সেইবোৰ কৰাৰ কাৰণে মই একো কৰিব নোৱাৰিলো
নহয় আপুনি কি বুলি কয় এতিয়া আপুনি অন হৈ আছে আপোনাৰ এতিয়া
অনে আছে
মানে ভিডিঅ' অডিঅ' চব অন হৈ আছে
কৰিলে
ঠিক আছে
আকৌ হেৰি নহয় এতিয়া ছোৱালী মোবাইলতহে কৰিছে
একো নাই ছাৰ নামতহে সোমাইছে প্ৰব্লেম নাই ছাৰ বুলিয়ে আহিছে ছোৱালী মোবাইলত সোমালো আপোনাৰ ছাৰৰ নামটোহে দেখা দিছে ইয়াত
নহয় এতিয়া ছোৱালী আকৌ বাহিৰ হৈ থাকিব নে ছোৱালীয়ে বাপেকৰ মোবাইলত জইন কৰিব পাৰিব
এইটো ছাৰ ওলাই দিব তেতিয়া তাৰপিছত সোমাই ললে হ'ল ছাৰৰ যেতিয়া ভাষণ দি হ'ব তেতিয়া ওলাই দিব ছোৱালী সোমাব পাৰিব তেতিয়া ঠিক আছে তেতিয়া আজি ডাবল নাই কালি প্ৰথমবাৰ কিবা এটা প্ৰব্লেম হৈ গ'ল
কালি ৰাণা ওলাইছে নাই
আজি কথাই বেলেগ নহয় আকৌ হয়নে ছাৰ
ঠিক আছে মই যে কথা কৈছে কাৰণে মই আহি গৈছো তুমি কিবা এটা কোৱা এনে হেল্ল' বুলি কৈছে
হেল্ল'
আহি গৈছে নিজে
হেল্ল' দেখুৱাইছো আপোনাক তুমি চব হেৰি কৰিবা
ৰক্তিম 50 people waiting on সোমাই গ'লচোন মানুহ
তাকে
ৰবা অৰ্চনা মেমৰ কাৰণে জেগা থব লাগিব
80 মানত ৰখাই দিম
80 মান ৰখাই দিবা অৰ্চনা মেমক মই তোমাৰ এই জাষ্ট হেৰি ফোন কৰিছো
ঠিক আছে এয়াৰটেল আছে নেকি
এয়াৰটেল মোৰ আছে
দেৱচা আছে
এয়াৰটেল তোমাৰ মই মোবাইলতে থাকিম কি মোবাইলত থাকিব তা হলো মই গৈ আছো ৰবা তোমাৰ এইটো এতিয়া কাটি থ পাহৰি যাবা আগত তুমি কৈ যাবা
খালি যে লগালগ 100 আকৌ 90 100 99 96 93
কেলে
কত কোসা কই দিল
কেলে আপডাউন হৈ
এটা ওলাই এটা যায়
কোন কিটা বাকি নহলে ফার্স্ট কাম ফার্স্ট 77 পায় যায়
নহয় এটা হেৰি আহিছে নাই হিষ্ট্ৰী কেইটা পইণ্ট ললে ভাল হ'ব কলেজৰ হিষ্ট্ৰী কেইটা
মাত নাই যায় apa মানে ভিডিও দেখি
ময়ো মুডটো চোৱা
হেৰি কৰিম দেই
লাইভ কৰিব লাগি আছে
এইটো কথা কৈছে না তুমি থলো সেই টেনচন তুমি
এই ন হেৰি কৰি থোৱা নাই আকৌ মিউট কৰা নাই
সবে আছে
ঠিক আছে যদি হেডফোনডাল লগাই লগাই আমি কম যে মাত নাহিলে আমি কমতো তেতিয়া আৰু কিবা
ৰেগুলাৰ স্কুল বুলি
ভইচটো পাইছে নে জানো হেল্ল'
Hello.
ময়ূৰী বৰা can you hear me
Yes.
okay
মোৰ মিউট আনমিউট কোনটোত হৈ আছে নেকি
দিলে যাব নি
লাইভ ষ্ট্ৰীমটো সেইটা খুলিলি নে জিঅ'গ্ৰাফি ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্টত খুলিলি নে
নহ'লেতো খোলাই নাখায় ন সেইটো নোলাই নহয় সেইটো নোলাব নহয়
সেইটোত গৈ চাব
সেইটো নাহিব নহয়
তই ইয়াত খুলিলি নে
খুলিলোঁ
ইয়াত
সেইটোৱে হয়
ঠিকে আছে মাৰ্চ জুলাই
গো লাইভত গৈছো কিবা এটা চিম্বল এটা দেখাইছে সেইটো কি
লাইভ ষ্ট্ৰীম ইয়াৰ পৰা নিদিলে আমি তাত কপি কৰিম নাই
কপি কৰিলে ওলাব
চব লাইভ ষ্ট্ৰীম হৈ আছে আমাৰ হেৰিয়ে দিয়া নাই
ইউটিউবত যোৱা নাই এনেকুৱা দেখাই আছে এইফালে ৱেইটিং ফৰ এক্সেছ চাউণ্ডটো হেৰি পৰা ৰাতিপুৱা হ'ব বুলি
Rana.
Rana?
আছে 11
Hello, Rana. Hello, Rana.
কওক
Orsna মোক হেৰি কৰিবা
ঠিক আছে এই মাৰি দিয়ক তাতে থাকিব তেখেত কি নামত সোমাইছে মই বাইদেউ
অঁ
তেখেত কি নামত সোমাইছে ঠিক আছে কোৰ্স কৰি দিম বাইদেউক অলৰেডি কোৰ্স কৰি দিয়া হৈছে বাইদেউ अर्चना भट्टाचार्य जी मैडम हेलो
Hello.
अर्चना भट्टाचार्य जी मैडम
Hi. Am I audible?
yes audible you already আপনাক already আপনাক co-host বনোৱা হৈছে
Okay, fine. Thank you.
okay welcome madam
Hello, Rana.
hello hello
Hello.
hello বাইদেউ কক
শুনিছানে?
শুনিছো কক
আচ্ছা আমাৰ ছোৱালীয়ে ইটো মোবাইলত সোমাবলৈ লাগিছে 100 ফুল আমুক তামুক দেখাইছে তাত কৈ আছে
না আপোনাৰ হেৰি বাহিৰৰ হেৰি কৰাই নাই এতিয়ালৈকে এন্ট্ৰি মই 11 ৰৈ আছে কৈছে 100 ওপৰত ৰৈ আছে কৈছে কি নামত সোমাইছে কি নামত সোমাইছে
দীক্ষিতা দত্ত
ঠিক আছে প্ৰথম মই get shareable link নহলে এতিয়া নাই ৰ লোকেল সেইটো কোৱা আছে নাই বাৰু লোকেল চেভিংটো কোৱা আছে নাই হা 1.5 ঘণ্টালৈকে ল'ব নাই বাৰু ল'ব নাই এই আমাৰ এই পিচিত চেতে মানে চেভিংটো পিচি চেভিং ল'লেও পিছত আপুনি লাইভ কৰি লাইভ নহ'লেও হেৰি কৰি দিব পাৰিব
মিটিংটো ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব কেইটা বাজিলে এডমিট কৰি লোৱা আছে এডমিট
গোটেইখনকে
গোটেইবিলাক কৰি আছোঁ সোমাব পাৰে
কৈ দিওঁ
অঁ এডমিট
90 people are waiting admit all কৰি দিওঁ
অঁ এডমিট অল কৰি আছোঁ যিকোনো সোমাব পাৰে
যা লাইক কৰা ভাল
ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব চাউণ্ডটো আহিলে চাগে
device audio off to the
Writing subject. I am alien to them. I want to learn everything. Adult I am, there's much to fight. Working on it, but it doesn't assumption. Trying to fix it, but wants to be like him. But still motivating each day. I try to keep
I'd like to request all the participants to unmute themselves.
love than a short-lived infatuation. I might not be.
মৰিবদক দিয়া আছে নাই আকৌ
Mayuri Boda, please unmute yourself.
And also now please unmute yourself.
Principal sir.
I have unmuted. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব পাৰে So let's start with it is 11.
So let's start. It is 11. Good morning, everyone. I am Mayuri Bora, coordinator of the national workshop organized by Department of History, Borhula College, Jorhat, Assam, in collaboration with IQSC, Borhula College. Respected Mr. Pradeep Kumar Soikia sir, President Governing Body, who is our patron for this workshop. Respected Mr. Brian Dutta sir, Principal of our college, who is the inaugurator. Respected Archana Bhattacharya ma'am, who is the resource person for today's session, and respected Mr. Kaushik Teka, who is the resource person for tomorrow's session, and dear participants from across the country, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. I welcome you all to the first day of the workshop. The present pandemic has put us in a state where we cannot mix up, continue with the day-to-day routine of pre-COVID times, and it has pushed us to a virtual world. We are to follow all the rules and regulations of social distancing, and at the same time, we must carry on our academic activities also. This workshop is a part of our work from home initiative. As a Department of Higher Educational Institute, we have many more things to do for the benefit of the student community. Hope the young participants will be benefited a lot. I request our principal sir to deliver his inaugural speech. Please, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Hello.
You are audible,
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Retired officer, government Indian Today magazine. Dear participants, I welcome you all on behalf of the college to two-day national level webinar organized by Department of History. Competition with IQAC in our college. The college is one and only higher educational institute in the entire Bohla area of Bihar district. According to I am very much thankful for IQAC Bohla.
বেশ্যা অৰ্জুনে নহয় কৰ নহয় এটা কৈছে তুমি যে মুখেৰে মুখেৰে অপশব্দ উলিয়াইছা সেইটো তোমাৰ লাগে আছে মানে মানুহ বেয়া ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিব নালাগে এই যে ইমানবোৰ কৈ আছে যি মন যায় যে তোক কয় তোক বুলিয়ে নহয় মোকো কতদিন কিমান অভিশাপ দিছে ক'ব নালাগে আমাৰ গাত দুখ লাগিছে তোমাৰ গাতো লাগিছে আমাৰ দুখে লাগিছে তেওঁ দুখ হৈছে
All of you, with these few words, I conclude my inaugurated speech. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech and for the help we received from you for organizing the workshop. Now I want to introduce before you our resource person for today's session, Dr. Archana Bhattacharjee, ma'am. Ma'am was an associate professor in the Department of English, Kakojan College, Jorhat, Assam. She has been teaching English language and literature for 32 years and still continuing after retirement from the formal system. She is a prolific writer and ardent researcher who has published good numbers of research papers, articles, book chapters in various national and international level peer-reviewed journals. He also presented various research papers at the national and international conference seminars held in India and abroad, including USA, Japan, Thailand, and UK. She has shared various national and international seminars and workshops as resource persons and contributed a lot to the academic scenario. Besides being an educationist and a teacher educator, she is a renowned social activist, philanthropist, and former state-level badminton player. It is worth mentioning that she is the recipient of Excellent Teachers Award from Himachal Pradesh University in 2016 and Lakshya Award for her contribution to the development of tea tribes in 2017. She has earned Fellow Award from the Royal School of Educator, Singapore, and Lifetime Achievement Award from International Youth Committee at the second International Youth Summit held in Colombo, Sri Lanka. She is really an energetic, benevolent, and passionate personality. We have been always encouraged by her valuable, dignified, and scholarly works. We are very happy to have you in this virtual platform, and I am sure all the participants will be enlightened and motivated after hearing. Welcome, ma'am. I request you to start your session.
I'm just checking. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
So, smiling morning to everyone. Respected President of the governing body, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Saikia, patron of this national workshop, and the inaugurator, Principal of Borhola College, Mr. Biren Datta, and the coordinators of this national workshop on capacity building, Mrs. Pushpa Dandia and Mrs. Mayuri Bora, and all other faculty members associated with this workshop. And last but not the least, my dear participants from different nook and corner of the country. Now, we all know that the coronavirus pandemic has halted normal life, and people across the globe are fighting it. In times like this, hope can be a powerful source of reassurance. So I would like to begin this session today with a quote which has always inspired me. It is written by novelist Anne Lamott. I quote, "Hope begins in the dark. The stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait and watch and work. You don't give up." I unquote. So with these few positive words, I would like to begin my session today. And I was asked by Moiri that I will have to deal with, or rather drill in 3 areas, that is job application, CV preparation, dress code, and personality development. Now, I have not actually worked out any PPT as such. I thought it would be a better option to address you because of different reasons, but mostly because of the technical hitch. So let me start off with, what do we understand by job application? Now, the job or employment application actually is the official form that employers ask all applicants for a position to fill out. The job application is actually a legally defensible listing of your job, applicant, employment, history, educational background, degrees, qualification, references, and more. Now, the second question which comes here is, what is the main purpose of the job application? For most employers, the main purpose of the application is to obtain verifiable information about job seekers, such as their contact information, eligibility to work, and their skills, their qualifications, their employment history, and a lot of the rather list of their references. The question which comes to the mind of all students after they clear their graduation is, how do I write an application letter? When you are writing an application letter, remember, for a job, you must always go through the following steps to make sure that you include information about yourself and your personal experience that will appeal to a hiring manager. First of all, we have to make a review of the company and the position that was advertised. Second, we have to use a professional format. Next, we have to create the heading. Then we have to address the letter to the hiring manager. Then, there is some disturbance here. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
So next we have to open the letter by describing our interest. We have to outline our experiences and qualification, include aspects of our personality, express appreciation, and then finally close the letter. Now, what exactly do we mean by reviewing information about the company and the position? Before applying for the job or sending in the formal letter, we actually have to spend some time reviewing the company information, which we can always find on the website, as well as the position listed. Then next we have to compare our qualification and experience to see if we meet the expectation of the company. Then we want to think about the specific experiences that have prepared us for the role as leading a team or managing a major event. Now, regarding the professional format, remember always that a job application letter should be more professional than a thank you card or an email to a co-worker or a friend. The alignment of the document should include single spacing, 1-inch margins, and left alignment. It is best to use a professional and traditional font such as Times New Roman in a size from 10 to 12 points. You must always try to keep your job application letter to 1 page. Next comes creating the heading. Always try to use a formal heading for your job application letter. The heading should include your name and contact information, the date, and the company name and address. If you send your job application letter via email, you can always eliminate your name and contact information from the header and put it in the bottom of the mail after the signature instead. By including a professional and detailed heading, we can actually make it easier for the hiring manager to follow up with regarding the position. Next, we need to address the letter to the hiring manager. In a research, try to find out the name of the person, if it is possible, reviewing the application for the job. Then you can address this letter to this person with a common business greeting, such as Dear Mr. / Mrs. and the last name. If you're not sure of the name or gender, you can use the generic to whom it may concern. Always open the letter by describing your interest. In the first paragraph of your letter, mention the job title for which you are applying and where you saw the position posting. Include your interest in the role and briefly state the main experience or qualification you have that makes you a good, suitable candidate for the post. Then outline your experience and qualification. You have to spend some time in this area. The next few paragraphs of your letter should highlight your experience, qualification, and skills, positioned in a way that align with the company's goals and mission. Since a job application letter should stand on its own without a resume, it is always helpful to include details about your experience that relates both to the position to which you are applying. Next comes including aspects of your personality. As you are writing your job application letter, consider how you can incorporate aspects of your personality. A friendly and engaging letter is likely to appeal to the reader, to the recruiters, especially when they can get an idea of how well you might fit in with the team. Then comes expressing appreciation. Before you sign off your letter, always express your appreciation to the hiring manager for reviewing your letter and considering you for the position. The hiring manager is taking time out of his busy schedule to read what you have written. So expressing your gratitude for the time spent is a polite and professional way to close the document. And finally, we come to the closing of the letter. Many people use sincerely or best regards to close the letter, although any professional sign-off is fine to include. The final line of the letter should be your full name. If you submit a hard copy of the letter, include your signature above your typed name. But when you submit an application letter via an email, you should always include your contact information beneath your name rather than including it in the header. So now, let us quickly go over what we have discussed just now. The other quick tips. First is emphasizing your skills and your abilities. An application letter is an opportunity, remember, to sell yourself as an excellent candidate for the position by including specific example of situations in which you applied your experience, abilities, and skills to benefit the organization where maybe you have to work earlier. Next is staying concise. The hiring manager will not bother to go through multiple pages of your application letter. So a brief letter is more manageable and rather appealing to. Then comes proofreading of the letter, which many students normally or candidates normally skip, which is not correct. Since a letter is serving as your first impression, you have to make sure it is always positive and free from grammatical or spelling errors to avoid a negative first impression. Then comes reviewing the job listing keywords. More job postings require certain skills and abilities that hiring manager wants applicants to possess. Include these keywords. I'm repeating again, include these keywords in your application letter to help the person reviewing it. So this is a short purview of application letter, but along with it, I need to tell you another thing, that along with the job application letter, sometimes or more often, you need to send a cover letter too. So what do we mean by a cover letter? It is a single page letter written to the person or organization offering the job you are applying for. Writing a cover letter should be part of every job application you make, unless there are clear instructions not to send one. While writing a cover letter, you should first of all introduce yourself. Next, mention the job you are applying for or looking for. Third, show that your skills and experiences match the skills and experiences needed to do the job. Then, encourage the reader to read your resume through the use of positive words. And finally, finish or round up with an appeal, a request for action. That is, request them for an interview or meeting. You cannot compel them or force them, but at least you can request them. So this is in short something about a job application and a cover letter. Next, we move on to the second part of my presentation, which is on curriculum vitae, or CV as we call it. A curriculum vitae actually is a Latin word, which means course of life. It is often shortened to CV or vitae, and it is a written overview of someone's life work. A question which comes or crops up very often at the juncture is, what is the difference between a curriculum vitae and a resume? So let me clear it. The difference between a CV and a resume lies in the length, layout, and purpose of these documents. Curriculum vitae has no length limit. Remember, it has no length limit. But resumes are typically 1 or 2 pages long. A curriculum vitae details the whole course of the candidate's academic career, whereas a resume summarizes only the skills and the work experience. The main objective of the curriculum vitae is to motivate the employer to have an interview with the candidate. Here, I'll share a few basic principles that will help you in the preparation of a CV or a curriculum vitae. First of all, we have to pay attention to the structure. The CV should be well structured in a way that it highlights the key characteristics of the candidate at first glance. Next, perfectly present his or her academic and professional background. Third, mention specific duties and responsibilities undertaken when he or she was engaged earlier. Next comes the content. The CV should contain the following information in the proposed order. As I cite, first will come the personal data. Include your full name, your contact information, your date of birth, nationality, and marital status. After that comes the professional profile. Write a short description, say maybe 2 to 4 lines, outlining who you are and what your professional skills and personal goals are. After that, we come to professional experiences. Mention in reverse chronological order. First, you have to mention the company or the place where you worked at the latest, and where you were hired and when did you leave, the dates. You have to be very clear about mentioning the dates when you were hired by the company and when you left. The job titles and the responsibilities that you had undertaken. Then the name of the company who had hired you earlier, and then include all your achievements while you were engaged in that post. Then we come to the educational part. When you are writing about your education, include information again in reverse chronological order. The dates, diplomas, or certifications that you have acquired, you have to be very specific in this regard. Then comes the names of the academic institutions which you had attended, then the diplomas or the certificates you have received. In addition to that, you may have acquired many other skills, like say, you have an aptitude to learn language, foreign language, or you may have computer skills, which are always considered assets for any company or any institutions. And so make sure that you mentioned it very clearly. Include your level of knowledge and refer to the certifications if you have it in your possession. And lastly, anything, any additional or optional things which you would like to include here. Say for instance, you may mention your hobbies, your interest, or your participations in any organization and recommendation from your professors or former employers or your supervisors at the end of the curriculum vitae. Now, here are a few tips which I would like to share with you. If you are at the beginning of your career, always place your education before your professional experience. The CV must not be longer than 2 pages. Write short and very specific text with the most important news in the first page. And lastly, be smart, but not excessive regarding the text formatting to capture attention on the main points. Sometimes we become too techno-savvy, so instead of being a support, that actually harms us. So we have to go very carefully when we are going about it. So this is in short, because there's a time constraint, I am not actually going into more details on this. But if you have any questions on any one of the points which I have mentioned, please feel free to raise your question towards the end, and I will try my level best to answer your queries. Now, we are all making all this kind of preparation with a goal or a target in mind. And what is the goal? What is the target? That after receiving our application, our job application, the recruiters or the hiring manager will invite us for an interview. So here comes another question which often plagues our mind. That is the dress code, which is a very important part because most of the time we are very much concerned in making an impression. Now, part of the preparing for a job interview is to make sure you are going to come across as a good addition to the company. And here, appearance, although we know, should not matter much, but the plain fact is that you are often judged before you have even uttered a word. And here, remember, first impression is always the last impression. Still, make sure that you are dressed comfortably, which is very important in a very pressurized interview situation. You are very worried, you are very tense, and in that situation, if you overdo in regard to your dressing, you might not be very comfortable, which will harm you. So I suggest that you wear a dress which is formal, but at the same time, you are comfortable. You feel comfortable wearing it, and that will actually release your stress to a certain extent. And then confident dressing hits at your desire to progress and success with the company. Very often, in the Indian context, it is not very common, but in Western countries, it is often seen that before people go in for an interview, they call up certain people working in that organization to find out if they have any specific dress code, or they would even look up in their website to check what kind of dresses the employers wear. And so these also can help in the Indian scenario too. Generally, a job interviewer calls for you to wear, certain things are expected, so they expect you to wear professional business attire. For men, this might mean a suit or trousers with a shirt and tie, and if it is winter, obviously a sweater. For a woman in Indian setting, anything from a sari, a formal dress or suit is appropriate. But make sure that you do not wear fleshy dresses. Stick to darker colors. Even if someone says that most of the people hired by the company wear casual dresses at times, don't listen to them. You should always avoid wearing jeans. It is not a formal attire, so you must avoid wearing jeans even if you find someone working in the company wearing that. And also you have to make sure that your outfit is clean and wrinkle-free. Pick conservative shoes, not very high heel ones, because sometimes you are made to wait for long hours before you are finally called into the interview room. So wear comfortable shoes. Do not wear too much jewelry. Don't do that. Wear simple makeup if you cannot do without it, and make sure that you carry a briefcase where you place all your documents. Be very precise about it. So this is all about the dress code. There are many other things which might come to your mind at that point of time, or even now. You may raise your question later. And now I finally move on to another very important part, that is, which affects us all throughout our life. And I'm sure all of us, whether we are students, whether we are teachers, whether we are educationists, whether we are people working in different fields, all of us are interested in what? Our personal development. It is one of the most important decisions we make for ourselves, to strive for continuous self-development. Some of the things that we all want for ourselves include enhancing the quality of our lives, achieving more, which is always our target, trying to become a better version of ourselves. That is why we set personal development goals all throughout our lives. I will discuss now a few personal development goals that will certainly help you in your forward journey and make you more happier and more confident. First is, we must all, by all, I'm not talking about only the students and others, I'm even talking about myself too, because journey on self-development does not end anywhere. It goes on. It may go all throughout our life. So every day is a new day. Every day is a learning day. Every day we get the opportunity to learn something or the other, and we must try to embrace the changes which will make our life better. So the first tip which I suggest for you is, you must learn to embrace empathy. Always learn to objectively comprehend different perspectives and thereby enrich your own insights and broaden your perspective. Sometimes what happens is this, we have got used to thinking of certain things in a particular way, and we refuse to accept others' point of view. And in that manner, we lose out on many things, which does not help in our growth. So we must always try to approach everything with a very open mind and learn to look at things from others' perspective too. This will definitely enrich us and help us to become better human beings. Then comes confidence. An individual's self-esteem or self-confidence is basically what he or she thinks about himself or herself. One of the reasons for boosting your self-confidence is that there is a strong association between, remember, strong association between your confidence and your success story. So one of the self-development goals should definitely be to boost your own self-confidence. Actually, I personally believe confidence comes from within, not from without. People can tell you, but you have to learn to build your own self-confidence. And this is something we can work on all throughout our life too. And this applies to everyone, including my own self. We have to learn to be active listeners. Actively learn to pay attention and demonstrate to others that you truly value their opinions and what they have to say. Remove any distractions that obstructs your ability to listen. We all like to be heard. So remember, others want to be heard too. Make sure that you give your ears to them. Listen very patiently to what they have to say. And sometimes you may find that the answer to many of our problems lies in what they tell you. So always keep your ears open and always listen patiently to others. When somebody is talking, don't stop him. Let him carry on, finish, and then you start from your side. Make fear your friend. This is very important and it applies to everyone, but more specifically for the students. Make fear your friend. To eliminate fear, you have to first be exposed to fear. Allow yourself to feel afraid and expose yourself to it. Don't try to back off. Don't try to hide. Don't retreat to your comfort zone. Once you are comfortable with the uncertainty of the situation, you can start working through it in a calm and a rational manner. You can be your best own self-helper. Here again, nobody can help you fight your fears. The battle lies within and you have to learn to fight your own battle. So fear, you have to learn to face fear in the face. Then improving your body language. Your body language, remember always, is a non-verbal communication which includes your gestures, movements you project. So research has proved that correct body language conveys your message across more effectively and also reflects your assertiveness, your confidence, and your perseverance. Very often it is seen that many people who go across for some kind of interview are sitting across the table in front of the interviewer or the hiring manager or whoever is there. And he or she, it is quite natural for anyone to feel nervous at that point, but one should be very careful and one should make sure that your nervousness is not communicated to the person on the other side through your body language. So when we are nervous, we have a habit of crossing our legs from one side to the other, or tapping on the table, or opening the cover of the pen, and doing many other things, which actually is very irritating also for the person sitting on the other side. And it throws a very wrong impression. It is actually communicating to the person sitting on the other side that you are nervous. So that does not speak too much about your confidence level. And that is why students must develop the habit from their school and the college days to mind their body language. Then again, we have to learn to get along with others. You must always look for means through which you can relate and get along well with others. You may have personal differences because you have different sets of principles, your different sets of ideologies, but always learn to respect each other and learn to adjust with each other, and never ever carry any kind of negative baggages in your shoulder. After getting along with others, the most challenging task is getting along with yourself. Now you must learn to appreciate and accept your own skills, experiences, and philosophies, aspirations, and limitations too. This healthy focus on yourself will make you more inspirational and attractive to others. Now, if you are not confident about your own abilities, your own skills, your own experiences, and whatever, then do you think somebody from others will try to boost your image? Definitely no. You have to learn to appreciate yourself first, and that will be reflected in your personality, and that itself will clear the path for you in any situation. So learn to love yourself. As the saying goes, the earlier saying was, love thy neighbor as thyself. Yes, before loving your neighbor, you must learn to love yourself. So this applies in this regard too. You must learn to love yourself with all your pluses and minuses, your flaws and your competence or whatever, but learn to appreciate yourself. And then only you can learn to appreciate others. Then comes procrastination. This is a very long word and most people get confused. Most people are not even aware of the meaning of the word. It means delaying. Whenever we delay anything, it causes a lot of harm. And particularly in regard to our growth, our personal development, our career growth also. So whatever task we have at hand, we must always try to fulfill those tasks immediately. Here and now should be the mantra. Never leave it for another day. So this is not, but it is true, it is not a character trait as such, but it's a habit which you can definitely unlearn and strive to utilize your time effectively. So if any one of you listening here have that habit of putting things off for another day, try to unlearn this habit and try to compel yourself, give yourself auto suggestions that no, from today, I have decided whatever task, whatever work I have to do, I'm going to do it here and now. That will bring you, or rather that will speed up. It will act as a catalyst. It will speed up your journey towards success. Always wake up early. The wise one earlier had always said, early to bed and early to rise makes men healthy, wealthy, and wise. So there are multiple benefits of early rising. Studies have shown that early risers are always happier, healthier, and more productive. Why? Because we have enough time to plan up the entire day. So if we set a timer and gradually get into the habit of waking up early, we can actually we can spend some time in the midst of nature too, and then we have some time to plan up the entire day, and we can complete work which we are not able to complete the previous day, and in this way everything is in a set pattern. So the question of nervousness does not apply here, and everything goes the way it should. So we must all develop the habit of waking up early. Next we must learn how to become proactive. Here I'll discuss a few traits of proactive people. The proactive people always consider themselves to be the creator of their own lives. They do not think, or they do not believe that others can create their life. They believe that they are the master or the captain of their own lives, and they can actually give shape to their own lives. This is an characteristics of a proactive person. Next, they will never consider themselves to be the victims of external circumstances. Very often, we sink into our comfort zone. Whenever something happens and it happens in a way that it actually has a negative impact on us, we retreat to our comfort zone. We do not want to come out again. And then if anybody asks us, raises any queries as to why we are behaving in this manner, we have a tendency to say, oh no, this had happened to me. They go back to the past, to ancient history, which is not correct. Nobody is actually interested in listening to your sob story. So please do not become victims. Don't play the role of a victim, and do not fall victim to some external circumstances too. Be the master, the creator, the captain of your own life. Do not allow others to determine your fate. You are responsible for your fate. So make sure you are aware of it and others are also aware of it. And you must learn to take ownership of the responsibility for the results you get. Now, it so happens that things may not work out the way we plan. It happens often. For that, if things are good, we take the credit. If things do not work out the way we want, we do not want to take this credit. Then we start pointing fingers at others and say that so-and-so is responsible for whatever has happened. But while taking credit, we take it fully. That is not correct. Whether it is positive or negative, if you are the captain of your life, you must learn to take full responsibility for all results, be it positive or negative. We must also learn to master the art of conflicts resolutions. Conflict, as we all know, is a part and parcel of our life. The key is to develop the skill of conflict resolution by working out conflicts rationally and settling disputes amicably. Now, in a workplace or in any place where people gather together or there are more than 2 or 3 people there, obviously, there are possibilities of argument taking place. Everybody holds on to their own point of view and they refuse to give up. So that results in a conflict situation. This is just a small example which I'm citing. So this results in a conflict situation. Nobody is willing to come forward and to resolve the conflict. So in that situation, a proactive person will do what? He or she will try to accept, knowing well who is correct, still will let the other person, he will take the back seat, but he will let the other person take the front seat, and in this manner, in a very amicable manner, settle the disputes. But that doesn't mean that he is permitting the other person to win the battle while he is right. But when the situation is better, he can explain things to the other person as to why he feels that this is not correct. So you see, things are sorted out in a very positive manner and the conflict is resolved. We must also learn, this is the attitude of all proactive people, we must also learn to let go of the past. To be truly happy in life, it is very important to be in the present. So learn to release ghosts from the past. All the by ghost, I'm not talking about the bhoot, jitu ami buju etia. Not that, I'm talking about all our negative experiences, challenges, or whatever that we had crossed over. Now this is a new day, a new chapter in our life, yet many have the tendency of dragging those things from the past and living it in the present. And then again, we put certain things in the cupboard. That is why there is a phrase saying that we must learn to clear the skeletons from a cupboard. So we must always keep the cupboard clean. By cupboard clean means your ethic clean, your mind clean, make it clutter-free. Don't carry any negative baggages from the past with you. Be in the present, live in the present, and act in the present. Try as much as possible to read more and to read often. We all know nothing is more powerful than knowledge, and to acquire this treasure, we have to read as much as we can. Research has proved that acquiring new knowledge satisfies an individual's thirst for competence, which makes them eventually happier and more confident. We must also learn to become more resilient. Resilience is the ability to overcome any kinds of adversity. You must always learn how to bounce back from any kind of problems to emerge as a stronger individual. Manage stress effectively. Too much stress can land you in distress. It has a negative impact not only on your physical health, but also on your mental and emotional health. So learn to manage stress through different stress management technique available. Now we all know we are advised to do or to practice meditation. Yes, this is a very positive way through which we can actually release tensions. We can also take up yoga. You can also do other kind of physical exercises. You can listen to music. There are so many ways in which we can work out a stress level. It is up to us to find out which works with us. All the strategies may not work out for everyone, but you have to decide for yourself which works out best for you, and you try it. Whether it's listening to music, whether it's doing meditation, whether it's doing exercises, yoga, or whatever. But try it, and you'll be sure that you'll be able to get over your stress. Also learn to ignore limitations. I always say, I used to tell that to my student also, sky is the limit. Remember always, give yourself that auto-suggestion. Sky is the limit. Limiting beliefs actually hinders our progress in life. It is important to identify your limiting beliefs, conquer them, and replace them with positive beliefs that will enable you to achieve your dreams in life. I can, I will, I must. Share yourself, which is very important again. As a teacher, think of yourself as a teacher and share your time, your feedback, opinions, knowledge, and skills with others. The transfer of knowledge and skills actually not only benefits the other person, but the process itself actually enhances our own knowledge and skills. Say, for instance, I know something, I've acquired skill in something. Well, my degree of understanding actually it becomes more enhanced when whatever I have learned, I try to explain it to another person. And that is what we actually mean by sharing yourself. Always learn to share your whatever resources you have, whatever skills you have, knowledge you have, experiences you have, you learn to share it with others. You will not become poor. In fact, you'll become richer by sharing your experiences. Next, learn to increase your willpower. Developing a strong willpower, I repeat once again, developing a very strong willpower will enhance your health, your relationship, your professional success, and all other areas of your life. You must have a very strong willpower. Try to work on it. This is my advice to all the participants, particularly the students here. Become very mindful of what you do. Strive to become more mindful by acknowledging the abundance and benefits that is already a part of your life. Instead of thinking about your future, of which you are not even sure of, you'd have no idea. Learn to live in the present. The philosophers term it as present moment awareness. Here I'm reminded of a few lines by a poet who cited, I just remember that stanza, whenever we face a negative situation, we have a tendency to sink into the negativity. So remember, always give yourself auto-suggestion through quotes, through positive affirmations, And then you will definitely be able to come out of that negative situation. With not said heart and cease repining, always remember, behind the cloud, the sun is always shining. Thy fate is the common fate of all. Into each life, some rain must fall. Some days must be dark and dreary. So it applies to everyone. Don't ever think that on a comparative note, their dead person's life is better than mine. Everybody has to face certain challenges in the course of the life. The difference between success and failure is the attitude, the way we face those challenges, overcome them. So this all depends on becoming mindful. Be very appreciative of whatever you have in the present. Don't think about the past. Don't worry about the future. Just try to be in the present, be aware of the present, and be appreciative of the present. Learn to make better decisions. Develop habits to make better decisions in life. Because the decisions that we make in our life will eventually lead to our success or to our failure. Very often, we let other people take our decision, which is not correct. We must learn to take control of our own lives and learn to take decisions on our own too. We may make a couple of mistakes here and there, but that should not stop us. We should not lose faith in ourselves. Your willpower will get stronger if you learn to correct those decisions and then try to use it again and again in new contexts. You have to also work on developing a strong, positive mindset. Your attitude actually defines who you are as a person, and it identifies the state of your mind. A positive mental attitude actually can move mountains and help you to achieve what you want from life. So learn to take control of your life with your positivity. That is the mantra, not just for one day, for all times to come. I have been speaking for a long period of time, and I don't know how much time I have, but still, now, I'm sorry if I've taken more time than I was allotted, but Mayuri, if there are any queries from the student side, please feel free to share it. This is all. Thank you for giving me a patient hearing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there any query from our student friends? Please raise your hand. Is there any query from our student friends? Please raise your hands.
Does that mean they have understood everything? Or they are reflecting on what I have shared with them? I don't know. I'll feel happy. I'll feel happy if they come forward.
Okay, madam is ready. Please raise your hand if any query from our...
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah,
Like going by the characteristics of the job application as well as the cover letter, both requires the presentation of an introduction of the candidate, the skills and experiences which are relevant to the job, and in addition to the, in addition to how the candidate will be suitable for that particular post. So, ma'am, how do we differentiate between the job application and the cover letter? I mean, what are the key points, the inclusion of which will essentially help us differentiate between the two, ma'am?
See, normally what happens whenever a post is advertised, they actually provide a format too, or application format. So there it is cited, certain questions are there, set there, where you just put in the points which is required, the answer that's required for you. But a cover letter has to go with the application. It is not a very long one, as I cited earlier. It's a single page letter, and it is addressed to the person or the organization ahead, wherever you are applying for. And there, it does not have to be very lengthy. You just have to introduce yourself, mention specifically the job you're applying in, because they might be advertising a good number of jobs in different categories. So you have to mention specifically the job that you are applying for, and in brief, show that your skills and your experiences, you think you are the right person to apply for the jobs, because the the criteria they have cited, the requirements fits in with what you have already, that you have to write in very short, please not go into details there. And through the use of the right kind of words, motivate the person at the other end to go through your cover letter and at least to give you the opportunity to have a face-to-face interview. They must feel that urge through the language of a letter. So a cover letter makes all the difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. It is good afternoon now for your information.
I am Kaushik Kolita from Gulagir College.
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask you, suppose I am going to attend the SSB interview. There I am asked a question, but I don't know the answer exactly of the question. Then how can I reply the question in SSB interview of UPSC and CDS?
Okay, I'm very happy. I'm very happy that you have raised this particular query. Now you see something which I have learned over the years, and some things which my friends have also shared with me, who are working in different organizations at different levels and all that, that whenever we are going for an interview or we are facing an interviewer, we do not know what kind of questions might be raised. And it is not expected also, even in the IS examination, the IS interviews also, it's not expected that the person who is being interviewed will have the answer to all the queries. You don't. And if you do not know the question, please do not pretend that you knew, but you had forgotten. Just openly, very confidently say that you do not have the answer to this question, but you'd like to know, so can he kindly fill in the gap and let you know the answer to these queries. So it is like throwing the ball to his court. That shows your openness, your open attitude, and that will actually prove to be a positive point in your favor. The person at the other end will feel happy that this man is not trying to hide anything. So this is the kind of attitude we have to develop when we go to face an interview. Don't try to show that you are confident, you have the answer to all the queries. I don't say that you have to show that you are underconfident or whatever, but at least don't pretend. Be what you are. Always answer only answer when you have the answer to the queries they have raised. If you do not have the answer to the question, well, it's not a big deal. You have to confess, yes, sorry, I do not have the answer to this question, but I would like to know the answer. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody more, please?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I have another question. How can I introduce myself in the SSB interview of UPSC and CDS?
Okay. Now, what happens is that when you go inside an interview room, this is an area which will be touched by the resource person tomorrow. That doesn't fall in my lot today, but still, because you have raised that question, let me answer you. When you walk inside an interview room, first of all, you just do not just open the door and you move in. You are called and you have to knock the door, and then you have to express your thanks for being asked to come inside, and then just don't pull a chair and sit down. You wait for the person to give you permission, and then you pull a chair and you sit down. After that, you greet all the persons sitting in front of you. If it is morning, say good morning. If it is good afternoon, so on and so forth. Okay. After that, the person at the other end, mostly what do they do is that they say that you introduce yourself. When they say they introduce yourself, it is a very important time. Within a very few words, you are actually supposed to speak all about yourself as you are, with all your strength, not your weaknesses, your strength. Try to draw the attention of the person concerned to your strength and why they should feel that inviting you to join the organization will benefit them. Try to sell yourself. Just like, I'll give you a very small example, which I often share with my students. Like, say we are going to the marketplace. We see a lot of vendors, the vegetable sellers sitting in a row there, all selling the same product. Now, what happens is that the person, the buyer, has the option. He has to decide from whom he's going to buy. But he's not, just because they are making an appeal, it doesn't mean he's going to go and buy from everyone. He's going to go and select for himself what he wants. So in this case, the interviewer or the hiring agency has the right to select the right candidate for the organization. So they would like to know in what way you are better than your previous or your thereafter, whoever will be coming for the interview, you are better than the other person. You have to convince them that if they do not keep you in the organization, they'll be the loser. You will not be the loser. So within that stipulated period of time, say for instance, you get 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, try to give them a capsule of yourself. You try to speak or highlight all the best aspects of yourself, and that will create a very good impression. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Is there anybody more? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. If you have any query, please raise your hand and put your query, please. Moyuriba, there may be.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, your presentation was wonderful. I have a question.
Yes.
When we attend an interview, how do you basically, control the nervousness in front of the, those who are hiring us, the hiring agency and all that?
Moyuri, is it okay if I answer this query? I thought because many there's that's kind of overlapping. Yes, but I hope he doesn't mind. Anyway, I guess he'll be talking about it again tomorrow. Whoever, what's the name of the person who raised the last question?
Oh no, phone number God.
Who was the person who raised the question just now? Hello? Hello? Swali Goraki naam ki asile?
Rana?
No, actually, yes, please mention your name. It's showing.
Anyway, it's okay. Okay, I'll address it generally anyway. So it's quite natural for anyone to feel nervous when you go for an interview. It's happened with me also. So this is not something unnatural. It's quite very natural. But as I cited earlier, that no matter what, you have to keep control of your body language. Make sure that you do not show the person sitting on the other side that you are nervous. So I would ask you to refrain from communicating anything through your body language. Don't keep crossing your finger for your legs from one side to the other. Don't keep tapping on the table, and don't keep fidgeting. And we have different kind of mannerisms we have developed over the years. We are mostly unaware of what we do unconsciously, but you have to get rid of all these kind of negative gestures, mannerisms and all, which actually throws a very negative picture of us as a candidate. So drink a glass of water before you go inside the interview room. That works. So if you are used to doing meditation, do deep breathing before you join in. Like this really works. It has worked with me on several occasions. Like if I have to address a great gathering, and something or the other keeps coming to my mind. I'll forget this, that and all. Then what do? I immediately drink a glass of water first, and I do some deep breathing, and then I walk forward. And once I'm there, I forget about everything else. I just concentrate on what I'm supposed to be doing out there, and rest doesn't matter to me. So I would suggest you have to work out your own way of working out of that tense situation. But always make sure that you do not communicate your tenseness or your nervousness or whatever feelings you might have within yourself to the person at the other side. Be in control of your body language. That is what I would suggest to you. And remain free from stress. And deep breathing will definitely help you in getting rid of your stress or your nervousness. I hope that answers your query.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Any query? More query? Any more query? Please raise your hand and unmute yourself. I think, madam, no more query.
Okay, that's all right. I really hope that they have actually understood something, taken something from here.
Yes.
Or sometimes what happens because of nervousness, hesitancy and all that, they are scared of raising queries or asking questions and all, which is not very good.
Yes,
I hope everybody is happy. No, it's all silent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks goes to everyone for at least listening to what I had to say patiently.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moyuri Badu.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, I will conclude now.
Yes.
Thank you, madam, Arshana madam, for your very much valuable, impressive session loaded with much needed information, which are very necessary for our students as well as for our young job aspirants. I think it will definitely help them to face an interview. And madam, you have delivered it in a very simple and expressive way. Thank you, madam, again for sharing your valuable time with us, and hope in near future we will see you again. Thank you, our dear participant, for your patience and good interaction. Due to some technical problem, we are unable to live streaming in YouTube. Sorry for the inconvenience. I thank you again. See you next day, next session. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with the students. Students, as a teacher, I love my students, whether they are from my own college or from elsewhere. I love interacting with them. And you have given me this wonderful opportunity, and I'm truly thankful. And for all the support that you have given here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. See you all next day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.